So opening hands for Starlax, not terribly great. No 1 or 2 drops there, although the deck doesn't play a whole lot of them. But Wildfire, both Mountain Giants in hand, their run, that could be trouble for Starlax.
Indeed. That is what you want to see as the Warlock for sure.
Early drop now coming into the hand for Starlax. Acolyte of Pain will give him a bit of card draw here in the beginning of the match, although turn 2, not much to do. Wildfire, and something else I notice, if you weren't able to hear us for parts of the stream, we do apologize. A little bit of technical issue in the booth, but it should be resolved now. We are back in the match here. Starlax versus Wildfire. Ugly Mucklings versus Bomb Voyage in the Sylvanas League Finals, match number 2. Wildfire now coming into turn 3 run with both of those Mountain Giants discounted. This is going to be a big start for Wildfire.
Yes, that's just going to roll quickly, and he's going to really struggle to clear these Giants off for sure.
Yeah, and this is a closed deckless format, so it is unknown if Starlax even runs Shadow Word Death. So Starlax may have no way to clear big minions this early in the game. So this could be a very quick game 1 if Starlax doesn't find an answer.
Very quick indeed. If he cannot find an answer in the deck, top decking, he's going to struggle.
But Shadow Vision should help Starlax find an answer, and I think that Acolyte of Pain is going to be an immediate signal. Not the Acolyte of Pain trade. It's probably going to be a signal to Wildfire that Starlax does not have a way to answer the Giant. So I gotta imagine he's just going to plop down the second Giant and really apply some pressure to Starlax. And I believe Run may be having a little bit of trouble with the spectator client. So if you're listening, Blizzard, tournament mode, spectator client. Mode.
Blizzard, please.
Get on it. Come on. Okay, now.
Okay, I'm back. I apologize.
No problem. So Run, Wildfire made a trade here. He traded one of these Mountain Giants into the Twilight Drake. What do you think about that?
The priest is going to struggle with removal. I'm a little surprised to see him take the trade here. I would have liked to have seen him gone face and pushed as much damage as he possibly could and put the pressure onto Starlax.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you there. The other consideration may be if Wildfire may have been anticipating a Duskbreaker there in combination with the ping from the Acolyte. That would have cleared the 8-3, but of course that would have meant that Starlax would have had to trade the Drake in himself. So yeah, I think I would have liked to have seen face damage there. But now Wildfire has both of these Giants online. So he's got a full hand as well, though. So he's got plenty of options here. He's got Silence in hand. He's got some taunts that he can protect these Giants with. It's kind of an embarrassment of riches for Wildfire.
Indeed, I like that verbiage. He indeed has a lot of riches. We can see, since he is a long ways off from a Psychic Scream, right now putting large minions on board to put pressure out is going to feel really good with no clear coming for another at least 2 turns.
Absolutely correct, but Wildfire instead opting to once again keep the board clear, develop another big minion. Okay. Of course, the 4-attack minions historically very difficult for Priest to clear, so this still does produce quite a lot of pressure on the Priest. But yeah, as you noted, he's got to get the job done by turn 7 if he wants to dodge that Psychic Scream.
And maybe that's what he's thinking about by clearing board and putting pressure is that he knows his Giants are probably going to go back into deck maybe, and he's just going to get the chance to reload again. Maybe what we're seeing. Traits.
Could be. I imagine Starlax is going to be digging for an answer to this particular board state. Wildfire hasn't really taken a bunch of damage, so I think there might be consideration for the Mind Blast, although that Shadow Word Death looking pretty attractive here, given the amount of pressure that Starlax is under.
Oh, he did find the Shadow Word Death. That does help relieve a little bit of the pressure.
That's still 14 damage on Wildfire's board, though. That's a
It's not
ton.
lethal, though.
It isn't. Although if that other giant had stuck, it would have been lethal. So once again, interesting choice to trade away the Twilight Drakes from Starlax. But look at this, more minions coming down for Wildfire. Dread Infernal.
And it pretty much guarantees it, if anything sticks this turn, a lethal. But however, we do see that he does have that Psychic Scream in hand, which is his only option to survive here. Now, had he not traded, Wildfire not traded in one time with the Giant, I think that we would be moving on to game 2 at this point. So always the consideration of when to go face and when to go, when to trade. So very interesting.
Yep, and Wildfire, as you said, got the Giant right back. Right off the top of the deck. Yeah, just put it right back on the board and force Starlax to have yet another answer. Doesn't have one yet, but he does have a couple Primordial Drakes that'll at least possibly keep him from dying here, but we can see with our caster vision, Wildfire holding a couple of Spellbreakers.
And that's got to be on Starlax's mind that the Spellbreakers could possibly be in hand. So maybe the answer is looking somewhere else. However, we can see there's not a lot of great answers in his hand at the moment. He can survive this turn, but they're not great options.
And I think Starlax is reading the same writing on the wall that you are, Run. He's Power Word Shield. Oh, Anduin just a tad too late there. He's going to have to use Divine Hymns to keep himself from falling under a lethal attack here next turn. But this does nothing about the pressure. The pressure is going to continue to build here for Wildfire.
Yes. I mean, that Anduin is a timely pickup because honestly, that was probably one of the few things in the deck besides another maybe Psychic Scream that could potentially save him here. So that Anduin does probably feel pretty good to Starlax right at this moment.
Yeah, that will allow him to slow down this damage down to just 2, plus whatever else Wildfire develops. And the rest of Wildfire's hand is somewhat meager in comparison to the offense that's been presented so far. A Dread Infernal is the next biggest thing he has. After that is a bunch of 4/4s and 4/3s. So Wildfire is going to be thinking real hard about what Starlax just picked up off the top of the deck.
Yes, I agree. And, Starlax is knowing that there's probably a Hooked Reaver in hand at this point. He knows that he's not going to be bouncing in until that combo comes down. So, that's got to feel pretty good to Starlax knowing that there's probably not a ton of huge minions coming out at this point.
Another somewhat defensive play here for Wildfire. Opts for the Spellstone to clear the minion and then drops the 2/3, the Plated Beetle behind it, perhaps respecting the possibility of this Anduin here. This is going to basically reset the clock for Starlax.
I'm a little surprised that he actually played around the Anduin, considering it was a top deck. He had to know that it was probably not in hand the turn before, so he either made a really great read or has another thought process that we haven't thought of yet on why he went with that. It does indeed look like he was being mindful of that Anduin from this side.
Indeed, and Wildfire has been playing this matchup a little bit passively, making a lot of trades on board, keeping the board clean. It has given Starlax time to draw into these answers and extend the game into a late game scenario. But the question is, can Wildfire continue to apply pressure now that Anduin is down? No more healing from the hero power. We see a tap, and looks like that other Dread Infernal is going to come down here and threaten lethal yet again.
Having that Argent Squire in hand, though, might come as a little bit of a surprise for Starlax. So he may not be playing as much around that type of burst damage. That's a pretty new inclusion to me to have that Argent Commander in there for that type of burst damage. So that slot's usually pretty versatile. You'll see a lot of Bone Mares in that place usually.
Yep, but this that Argent Commander is going to be part of the solution right now, or Hellfire. Both of them get it done.
Hellfire does it does. There we go, and we're going to head into game 2. Wildfire taking down Starlax.
So that means Wildfire gets to stay on the Evenlax. Starlax has to retire the Control Priest. This leaves him now with a choice between the priest, or excuse me, the warlock or the shaman. So we get to see now which shaman this is, and I got to be honest with you, both of the most common shamans in the set don't seem real great against the Evenlock. So I wonder if we'll see a warlock mirror here.
Yeah, I think that's probably the route he was going to go. If he brought even shaman, that's probably like definitely where I would probably lean to try to go for the mirror. Shutterwalk, it's not great.
It really is
at all. So
Hex is a heck of a card.
Yeah, that is true.
And it is, in fact, Warlock Mirror. So, you were right on the money run. But let's see. Well, Doomsayer, Shroom, Brooder, Plated Beetle, bunch of even cost cards. Looks like we're going to have an Evenlock Mirror.
Mm-hmm. It does indeed. And we can see that it looks like Starlax chose to go with a little bit more control, whereas we've seen Wildfire maybe be a little bit more on the aggro-y side of Evenlock. So this should be interesting to kind of see which one takes the cake, if you will.
Yeah, that Doomsayer is a great tool in the mirror as well. It allows you to interrupt your opponent's 3 or 4 play into the giant, the discounted mountain giant. And gives you time to play yours in response and take the initiative on the board. And I think we did see Wildfire had that last turn, and Wildfire just drawing into his Mountain Giant now. Starlax has to start tapping.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, not a couple of great draws here for Starlax. Twilight Drake's okay, but it's not Mountain Giant.
Definitely not Mountain Giant. But he still has time to tap into that giant. Oh, look at that. We get a second giant into Wildfire's hand.
Goodness.
Who did he pay off at Blizzard for this hand?
Starlax, when he sees both of those giants come down, he's going to be cursing RNGesus. This is just not the kind of start you want to get against another Evenlock. Look at this. This is mostly just junk in Starlax's hand in the Evenlock early game.
How do you even make a good opening play with this? I mean, knowing that you're playing an Evenlock with Defile in your hand.
Well, the Doomsayer is going to give Starlax time to try and find his own giant. Wildfire cannot play into this Doomsayer without having his own board cleared. So this will probably just be an attack and pass from Wildfire. Starlax is going to try and top deck his giant and seize initiative on the board. Wildfire considering his options, probably counting out exactly what the next turn looks like with that extra draw.
And we can see it makes his hand very awkward if he does tap here, having 3 mana, so it may just be a pass turn for him. He could throw out that Sun Fury, but it's honestly in this matchup, it's a big waste of resource. There's the giant. He finally managed to catch his own.
Very timely top deck for Starlax. Doomsayer was timed just right. He's got his giant down, but Wildfire has his own as well, and he's going to add a Sun Fury Protector to the board to force the trade. And Starlax going to have to give up that initiative for that other giant once it comes down from Wildfire next turn.
But we do see that he at least has that Twilight Drake as a decent follow-up here, which will help control board and kind of take back that initiative.
And Wildfire picking up a Spellstone off the top. No silence in hand this time for Wildfire. He's going to have to be playing the board honestly this time around. Options again, Giant in hand. Can always go for that. Does have a couple Dread Infernals to power up those Spellstones. But nothing quite beats an 8/8. Tell you what.
No, especially when there's only a 4/10 on the board. That's very true. And he's going to go ahead and Sun Fury to force the trade. I think. Oh no, he's going to Homunculus.
Yeah, I think a 2/4 is a little bit better than a 2/3, and this also powers up the Spellstones. So yeah, this is probably a slightly stronger play than the Sun Fury.
Agreed.
And that's Starlax is gonna have to bump into that 2/4 and not be able to clear that giant now.
Starlax really didn't pick anything up to help this go anywhere, did he?
No, another Twilight Drake doesn't. It's a nice big body, but it's nothing versus that 10 damage that Wildfire's sitting on board with. But honestly, it's probably his best play. I think he's just going to play it out and try to put as much stuff on the board as he can.
If Starlax can't catch anything to help him deal the board back, he's definitely going to at least catch a Sun Fury Protector so he can get something taunted up and then maybe throw down a Doomsayer to try to help gain some initiative, because at least he still has his own giant lurking somewhere in the deck.
Yeah, that would be just a ton of stuff on board to throw out, in favor of like a Gan or a Dread Infernal. Oh, Wildfire picking up Gul'dan off the top.
We can't beat this.
Heart of the cards is with Wildfire tonight so far. Wildfire considering maybe a trade Spellstone here to keep the 2 Twilight Drakes from trading out the Giant. Would force Starlax to come up with more resources from hand in order to answer the Giant. So this is pretty solid here from Wildfire. Sun Fury to once again force trades. Starlax now down to 14 and not a whole lot of gas in hand.
No, at least he does pick up that Sun Fury Protector. It does not feel good to lose resources here. However, he may be at the point where he needs to start considering, how do I gain the board back? I'm at 14 health without much in the healing. So what can I do to start moving the initiative back in my direction?
Starlax forced to actually use this Hellfire to clear the board. It's dangerously low life levels, although not a lot of burst damage coming from Evenlock. So this is actually going to at least reset the board for Starlax, but it gives initiative back to Wildfire.
Knowing that he's used a lot of his smaller minions, there's not going to be a whole lot coming down, maybe 1 minion at a time. So it probably doesn't feel too bad for Starlax at this point to go into that lower health total.
Oh, you know what? That second Doomsayer was sitting in hand, so this actually is going to allow Starlax to return initiative back to him, unless Wildfire wants to expend that Spellstone. Actually, is it even powered up? No, it's not even powered up high enough.
It's at 5 mana right now, so we'd have to Dread Infernal into it. You don't want to do that onto a Doomsayer board.
Yeah, not enough mana for that either, so not going to be able to clear it. So yeah, this is going to return initiative back to Starlax. Is going to at least get a chance to develop and start taking control of this matchup.
And it looks like Wildfire's hovering over some cards, maybe thinking about being able to empty out and maybe tap into something else, trying to keep his hand clear. I'm not sure if that's what he was thinking or if it was just a click over, but interesting thought if it is.
Yeah, Defile's not going to get a ton of value in this matchup. Not a lot of small minions from Evenlock to clear with Defile Chain. So yeah, just get it out of hand, draw another card, try to find craft a little bit better of a hand into the coming turns. I wouldn't hate it if he did that.
I don't see anything wrong with it, but he's not in dire need to find something to play. There's nothing unplayable. He's got quite a few options.
2 Dread Infernals, the Lich King, again Greymane, plenty of power. Look at this, Starlax comes into Lich King off the top, and he's been holding the coin. That's a great play for turn 8 here.
And you can see how quickly this can turn for him. It's going to be very difficult for Wildfire to answer this. We do see the Argent Commander. Maybe an Argent Commander Spellstone is going to be the answer he needs. Oh, wait, we're at 9 minutes. That won't work.
No, not quite. Yeah, so you might be right. I don't know that Wildfire has an answer for this Lich King. So this could be the corner that Starlax needed to turn this into a fighting chance.
Now, he could draw out his own Lich King here to at least stop it or be able to trade that out. But I agree. This is definitely Starlax's turn of the corner if he can utilize it.
Yeah, you're right. The only challenge that Wildfire can produce is the Lich King, and Saku down in the production room wondering if Wildfire disconnected, but I think Wildfire is still in the game. He's just taking his time, thinking about how he wants to challenge this Lich King. And yeah, he's just going to challenge it with his own Lich King. I think it's his only possibility.
Yeah, leaving an uncontested Lich King is almost death every single time. So he throws that on out, and then is going to go ahead and pass on to Starlax. So let's see what Starlax does with this turn.
And, interestingly, too, Starlax actually has a little bit of healing in hand. Both of the Shroom Brewers have come into hand now, and that'll let him get back up to 20 if he wanted to. But I don't think Starlax himself has an answer for Wildfire's Lich King. I think he just has to trade this out. Greymane going to come down and start producing more pressure. I like this. I like this a lot, Run.
Yeah, and Wildfire now is behind, and he's going to have to, we haven't seen any Dread Infernals, so we've seen one Homunculus, I think, come down. So, getting Gul'dan isn't going to feel great to get board initiative back. So the answer may be he is looking at his own Gen or a Dread Infernal, knowing he does have Blood Reaver in hand.
Yeah, could even finally throw out that Defile and just ping it for a point of damage and put down an Argent Commander. Could use a Spellstone, but that would not leave him. No, he could Spellstone and play one of these 6-mana minions as well. So Wildfire does have options here. Just a question of how he wants to utilize his mana, utilize his resources in this very, very close matchup.
Looks like he is thinking about using that Dread Infernal. He's going to power up the Spellstone here. Give him an option to clear. There we go. And we can see how quickly these things turn back around. We've got Wildfire at 26 health and Starlax facing down to 6/6 with 11 health. And Starlax does know from the last game that Argent Commander could be lurking anywhere in the hand.
Yeah, actually, I don't know that he played it. I think Wildfire completed that last lethal with the Hellfire.
Oh, that's right. He did keep it. That was actually very smart because it's still a surprise for Starlax. So
yeah, closed deckless here in THL.
So that will be interesting. Okay, so Starlax is going to choose to heal here, probably for the best in case he sees a Bone Mare or something along those lines. So that's a smart idea on Starlax's part.
Yep. Sun Fury Protector going to keep some of that face damage at bay. Wildfire picking up in a Hooked Reaver, but he's pretty far away from that Reaver getting any value. But a Demon's a Demon, and Gul'dan is still sitting in the deck there, just waiting to be deployed whenever Wildfire needs a refill on the board.
Yeah, I still think he's sitting a few turns off of necessarily needing to Blood River, but we know once that hero power gets online, it's almost game over. So it may be he doesn't go for full value and just goes after the 6/6 dies. Maybe he just goes for the huge board swing that it'll provide.
And Wildfire 2 is holding on to Obliterate from that Death Knight card produced by the Lich King. So he's got some additional removal that Starlax may not be accounting for in this specific board state, especially after that last Spellstone got expended. So Wildfire definitely has options and can swing this board state back in his favor once again. Tapping for a card instead.
Maybe looking... Not sure what he was looking for there. A Drake does feel pretty good to be able to help contest this board. It's going to have a high health total. We know a bunch of, pretty much anything that's going to come out isn't going to be able to kill it. Oh, interesting. All right.
Yep, there's the Obliterate.
And so he does swing this board very much back into his favor. We do see that a second Hellfire is picked up here, which helps swing that board back around at least a little bit for Starlax if he decides to use it here.
And Starlax not far from being able to deploy a Hooked Reaver for its more powerful form at 7/7 with a taunt. But do you want to take that much damage when you're facing 12 on board is the big question. Couple of other options. There's partial clears available as well with combination of either Defile or Hellfire in a trade if he wants it. So these got some options. This is interesting.
Definitely. Okay, he takes for the armor. That is interesting. He had the option to Hellfire and then Hooked Reaver, but he chooses to use the weapon. And I like this. It's getting that extra bit of healing and getting a minion out of this is actually, I think, a pretty solid play.
Yeah, heads up play there from Starlax, knowing that he's in effect stealing minions from Wildfire, and without much burst damage in even lock, 4 damage is not lethal. It's pressure, but it's not lethal yet. Starlax knows he has a turn or two, but this Bone Mare is certainly going to put the pedal on the floor.
When we see that Bone Mare come down, it's a little bit gut wrenching, because how do you clear an 8-14 as an even lock? I mean, you silence it, but you have to have that in hand.
And no doubt that was part of the plan of Wildfire deploying the Twilight Drake last turn. He figured he wanted to have a platform for that Bone Mare buff, and Starlax now scurrying through his hand trying to find an answer. And I don't know that there is one. This could be game over for Starlax. We could be going into a game 3 here.
Yeah, I mean, we can see that he's got some burst damage in hand as well as some silence. Unfortunately, Starlax can't see that, so doesn't know for sure. But this could pretty much be it.
This should be it here. The silence,
and then
or just the trade plus the Drake. That'll do it.
Go with the easy one first. Don't go with the 1,000 IQ one, right?
Anyway, it's an alternate line. All lines are valid there as long as they get the hero to 0. But this is going to put Starlax behind the 8 ball, down 0-2 to Wildfire. Wildfire again gets to stay on the Warlock. Starlax now down to the Shaman. We get to see which one it is. And as we were discussing earlier, neither of the popular Shamans run are very good against even lock.
No, I mean, we'll see what we get. Shutterwalk does have some options with Volcano and Hex and things like that to get some of these bigger minions off. So we do see that Shutterwalk is in hand for Starlax. So we do know that we are going to see a Shutterwalk even lock match. We can see also that he has the Silence, deal 1 damage, Silence. Can't think of the name, my apologies. But we can see he has that in hand.
Earthshock.
Earthshock, thank you. Huge card in this matchup for the Twilight Drakes. Volcano helps clear large minions. It doesn't feel great, but it does help get rid of some of those larger minions that get on board sometimes for the even lock. So he does have some pretty good cards in the mulligan for this hand, or for this matchup.
Yep, and Starlax, Starlax is a buddy of mine. We talk strategy a lot during the season, and he loves these high skill decks like Shutterwalk. Not surprised he took it, but the question's going to be, can he find a win here and turn this into a potential reverse sweep for the Mucklings? Starlax's opening hand is certainly not bad for Shutterwalk. Probably doesn't want that Lightning Storm, but Farsight, Glacial Shard, excellent against Giant. Wildfire picks up another Giant off the top.
Oh my goodness. He really did pay somebody at Blizzard off this week. Donuts or something, who knows? But he does pick that Giant up. That will be the 5th Giant we've seen, which is crazy in 3 games.
That is criminal.
That we see that off of the top. I mean, if you're going to bring even lock and you're going to open with it, that's exactly what you want to see to get the sweep. Just keep getting those Giants down.
Yep. But Starlax picked up Hex off the top. Very, very welcome tool in this matchup. It'll allow him to answer that turn 3 Giant, since even lock can actually get that 8/8 down on turn 3 thanks to the presence of the coin. Ooh, Earthshock, another tool.
Good pickup, yeah, and that's probably what he was probably mulliganing away that Earthshock for, was so that he could try to pick up a Hex. Luckily, he did manage to pick that up as his first draw, and then into the Silence, and then into a Chain Gang. I mean, that's are all the tools.
1-mana Chain Gang too.
That's good.
Yeah, like this is a matchup where you're trying to keep that damage from hitting face as much as possible. So 1-mana Chain Gang feels great. Picks up a Mana Tide Totem off the top to go with him.
He is going to be
nice a few sequence of turns here to run.
Yeah, building a nice board state to be able to start dealing with things. Just man, and the curve that he's got to be able to handle anything that's coming out, because we know on a turn 4, a Drake is almost always, but he's going to go ahead with the Hellfire. That's probably the best option, but usually 4 is either Hellfire or Drake for an even lock, so he had decent answers either way.
Yeah, and this, it's a little unfortunate that the Hellfire comes down, because Starlax could have protected that Manatide totem from trades. Of course, Hellfire would have cleared it anyway, but Starlax can just go ahead and hit. He's got options. He can hit Hex. He can hit the Volcano now if he wants to. He can right away turn off this pressure and turn it into a 0-1 frog.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision on his part, knowing that we've got some maybe larger states coming out, and he's got a single removal answer there. I think that was a wise decision on Starlax's part to reserve resources. So.
And here comes the Twilight Drake. So Starlax knows he's got an immediate answer for that too. And I think there's a little bit of information being communicated here as well, because the second giant did not follow that first one being hexed. So this could be a signal to Starlax that he's going to have some time to breathe here.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get too comfortable, because the even lock can always throw down some big turns. But we can see, he still has a ton of removal in hand. This is exactly what you want to see as a Shutterwalk in this matchup. You want to see removal, removal, removal.
And some card draw, which he's had quite a bit of so far. Farsight got him into an early minion. This Manatide Totem has gone unchallenged a turn. So this is not a bad position here for Starlax in the mid-game, starting to get through his deck. And I gotta wonder, too, another Earthshock. Starlax was prepared for this matchup. He knew what he needed to do.
I think Blizzard realized we were onto them for Wildfire.
Go ahead and somebody put their finger on the scale there to reset this matchup.
Maybe a little. So we see Gen come into hand for Wildfire. Probably not the answer that he was looking for here. Cinder, what do you think that he wants to play here to help swing this back in his favor for Wildfire?
If I'm Wildfire, I'm really looking for a way to deal 1 damage and defile this board, but there isn't one. So I think he's just going to have to just start creating more pressure on the board. A coin Lich King was certainly a consideration, although coin Gul'dan on turn 9 also feels pretty good. But he can't give Starlax too much time, right? The more time he gives Starlax, the closer he gets to that Shutterwalk combo. So he's got to start putting as much pressure as he can on the board.
And he's got to be feeling the pressure of getting that Manatide Totem off of the board itself, knowing that another one could potentially come down at any time. So he is looking for answers, and probably not thinking that there's going to be a second Earthshock in hand, considering we just saw that 2 turns ago. So throwing that Drake down probably feels like a solid choice for him. However, we can see that he did in fact pick that second Earthshock up. So very large consideration there. Grumble comes into hand for Starlax.
This is a great Grumble turn for Starlax. Earthshock gonna clear the Drake. Grumble gonna return Zola and the totem to the hand, and he can just play it right back down with the remaining mana run. Boy, this is a powerful turn.
Oh wow, that is. And we're gonna
Zola on the Grumble.
Zola on the Grumble. We can just see him holding that in hand for that Shutterwalk to come down and go infinite. It's every tool that Starlax needed here, he's gotten. So Wildfire's got to come up with a pretty crazy answer to turn this board back around.
Yeah, because this is interesting, because that Grumble is a 7/7. That's counter pressure. That's Starlax with some ability to trade away some of these threats. And Wildfire can't just mindlessly pressure now. He has to come up with an answer for the Grumble. So he's going to deploy that Spellstone after the Homunculus powers it up. But this is going to require a trade as well if he wants to go this route.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent answer, though. We can see he's hesitating on if that's the route he actually wants to go on clearing this. But that is a pretty solid answer and keeps this board, keeps his minions healthy, and allows him to put some pressure on Starlax here with the 6 being able to go phase 6/6.
But this is a perfect time for Volcano. 11 health on board. Fits in nicely with the 15 damage that comes. Doesn't sacrifice any of Starlax's minions. And boom, second Manatide Totem comes down. Starlax really starting to move quickly through his deck now.
And Wildfire's got to be feeling that a Shutterwalk turn is incoming, imminently incoming. We haven't seen any Life Drinkers, but Wildfire knows that he is drawing through this deck like there's no tomorrow. So.
Yeah, we're on to our third Manatide Totem. Another Farsight came into hands. Starlax could pick up the second Hex here, but the Volcano can clear the board just as well. So this Lich King is probably going to get challenged one way or the other, depending on how Starlax chooses to go. Starlax could even go with something like Electra Storm Surge, Farsight, draw 2 with discount, and like pick up a Hex off the top. The odds aren't bad. It's 2 in 14. It's if he didn't want to use that Volcano right away. So he's got some time. 20 health is a bit of a cushion.
He's definitely got some time here to see what comes up. Oh, and we see the Shutterwalk come into hand. Now we're just looking for those Life Drinkers. And, I mean, it just looks like a pretty decent board state for Starlax right now. We are going to see the Farsight come out, so he is going to hold that. Maybe wanting to hold for a double Volcano or a double Electric Storm. Oh, we see him reaching for it. So, yeah. Maybe to clear a larger board if he does Gul'dan, or maybe if he's worried about his health, maybe he's thinking holding it for a healing rain or something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, the other consideration too there, Starlax was at 9 cards. If the Manatide Totem stayed on board, he'd go to 10 and burn something. Doesn't want to burn a combo piece. So yeah, Starlax heads up play there, going down to 8 cards and clearing the board at the same time. Wildfire back to redevelopment, and Gul'dan is probably the strongest play here. 10 mana makes some stuff.
It's going to build him a good board, and man, that hero power, you can't beat it.
Yeah, and it's not many demons down for Wildfire actually. So this is Starlax has an opportunity to clear once again. Electra plus Lightning Storm is a possible board clear. Can roll 3 twice against that Infernal. So Starlax's not dead yet, but you're right. As you noted, he has to get those Life Drinkers online, and he's got to get them now.
I must feed now.
Well, we know he's sitting at a 1 in 6 chance of drawing that, so that Hagatha is a pretty decent answer here. Okay, he's going to go with the Electra Storm Surge, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't hate this. Oh, he's going to go with the 0 mana copy. That's interesting.
I don't know if I would go with the 0 mana. He must be having something else in mind, maybe tempoing out a Manatide, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility, because now he's going to go down to 6 cards. And, well, look at this. He's going to actually tempo out the Gluttonous Ooze. I like it.
So that tells us that he's not planning on Hagatha, doing any type of Hagatha this turn, the next couple of turns. Going to put some pressure on Wildfire to come up with some answers to this board state. And in fact, he does have Hellfire in hand.
Yeah, but I like that Ooze that as you noted, that kind of forced, or at least tempted Wildfire to play that Hellfire to get rid of not only the pressure with the Manatide Totem, but of course Starlax sitting on a 3rd Manatide Totem. So he can just play the 3rd one and refill here behind this Glacial Shard if he wants to.
And with the way that the board state's sitting, he's just kind of chilling out. He said, I'm going to put some more card draw out there. I've got answers in hand. If I can't answer this 6/6, I can grumble that Glacial Shard back and, make it stay frozen another turn. He's got answers for days if he can't figure out what he wants to do, for sure. So.
And that Healing Rain's going to give Starlax quite a bit more time on the board. That'll basically refill him back to full health. Defile not going to fully clear the board here. He's going to have to add a hero power to clear off that Manatide Totem. Argent Commander going to put a little damage on, but Healing Rain going to be a very welcome play here.
Yes, we'll see that bump face. There's that Life Drinker. Finally comes into hand. That's going to make all the difference, especially when you can Life Drinker and then Grumble the following turn, and then Grumble bring the Shutterwalk back, and it'll just keep rolling from there.
Yeah, I don't even know if he has to do anything but just go for Shutterwalk in his next turn. It'll set down his Glacial Shard effects and keep this board intact, and hopefully keep healing himself with those Life Drinker activations.
Ooh, that's a nice size minion there. We see that 8/6 with charge. Does not feel bad at all.
That is a ton of damage. So I think it's Shutterwalk time. It's now or never for Starlax. Oh, look at this! Wildfire's. He thought for a second there to go face with the hero power instead of the Life Drinker. Ooh, that'd have been a mistake.
We can see that would have been game over if Wildfire had not cleared that, because he would have been able to alternate the Life Drinker and the Shutterwalk to just create more and more damage off of the Shutterwalk. So that was a good call last minute to switch up on that.
Well, I think Starlax is going to think long and hard about any other lines he might see here, but Shutterwalk does appear to be the play, and here we go. The big question is, what order does all this stuff come out? Glacial Shard doesn't want to go.
Oh, not where you want to see that. Oh, there we go. That looks good. We definitely want to. Starlax will want to see the 8/6 frozen here.
Oh, my goodness. The very last two activations were correct. Shutterwalk into Grumble. Now Starlax is in the home stretch. All this Shutterwalk has to do is freeze these last two minions, and he's going to be in good shape.
Oh, my goodness. I'm not sure he's going to make it. Back. Oh, wow.
Oof. Wildfire only needs to come up with 6 more damage to put this game away. And looking at his hand, though, I do not see any extra damage. He can produce 3 more from the hero power, but that's it. Run. This might be it.
What about if he unfreezes if he Spellbreakers the Dread Infernal, and then that should be able to go face, correct? And that would be lethal damage.
You are absolutely right. That would be 6, 8, 14 plus 5 is 19. That'd be lethal. But is Wildfire familiar with that interaction?
I will find out. Oh, I think he might.
He's reaching for it.
Oh wow! What a win!
So close.
Oh my goodness! That. Then the thing is he should have probably maybe considered Starlax. Maybe should have considered the Hagatha there, because had he considered it and it had triggered, we wouldn't have had as much damage on the board there. So.
Yeah, I think Starlax just didn't feel like he had enough time to get it all done, and more damage was going to come out of that deck from Wildfire. But
wow,
the Shutterwalk just needed to get those freeze effects into the right position, and he would have been able to carry this match on. But just feels bad, man, to get so close.
It went face twice and then hit the Dread Infernal twice. I mean, statistically, that was not supposed to happen. So there's not much you can do about that. Sometimes, as a player, you get the bad draws, and that's RNG.
Yeah, Wildfire's definitely been on a roll tonight. 5 Mountain Giants in 3 games. The Shutterwalk, hitting just the right minions to allow Wildfire to assemble a lethal by silencing the freeze effect off of that Dread Infernal. That's going to put Bon Voyage up 2-0 in this series. Ugly Mucklings, now it is do or die. Ironfire, Wolfmac, and Starden must win their remaining 3 matches in order to complete the reverse sweep and take home the championship. Otherwise, Bon Voyage only has to win 1 more match, and they are going to be the champions of Sylvanas League Season 7.
That is definitely going to put the pressure on. Not being able to drop a single match here is going to make them either play at their very best or hopefully not choke extremely hard. So the pressure is on.
Not going to lie, though, the remaining matches are Ironfire, Wolfmac, and Starden. Those are 3 extremely strong players.
Yes, yeah. Ironfire coming off of DreamHack Atlanta, correct? Where either Wolfmac or Starden there as well.
Wolfmac was definitely there. Ironfire was there as well. Ironfire actually advanced very far in the side event as well. which is a conquest series that happens during the DreamHack finals. So he's been practiced. He's fresh. He knows what he's doing. This Bon Voyage team that with mostly new people have really come out and surprised everyone in THL, and the quality of their play has definitely been admirable. So this still could be a very tough series for the Ugly Mucklings, despite the pedigree of this team.
So that just means that everybody needs to tune in, cheer on their favorites, and see how this goes down, because the suspense is high.
It is. So please come back, follow the THL Twitch channel here, or subscribe if you are so inclined, and you maybe have a spare Twitch Prime that you want to throw out there and be good to the people here at THL, like Nice Guy Saku, who's been running the stream for us down in the booth, and of course Run and I can continue casting these matches. So follow us, follow the blog, tune in next time. Keep it right here, because the rest of this week, all through Sunday, more championship matches for both Sylvanas and Ragnaros leagues. Don't miss it. So Run, final thoughts for the match. What do you want to leave us with here?
Great play by both players. Sometimes you face an opponent that is running hot, and Starlax saw that tonight. It's unfortunate because Starlax is an extremely solid player. We didn't get to see a ton of his technical play, just because we saw that Wildfire was just running hot, and he made some excellent plays. He didn't drop anything. He played solidly, and that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Indeed, it does. So for Run and for Nice Guy Saku down in the production room, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Come right back for the rest of the matches this week. We'll be right here bringing them to you.